Hello and welcome to Steph Time. My name is Stephanie and today I'm going to show you how to make this top. Yes, it is the Steph Time side tie top. I'm so excited to share my newest pattern with you guys. I released it for sale back in May and then I bought a house and got super busy. So here we are, finally I'm showing you how to sew this top. This top has two views. View A is made with lightweight fabrics and all of the seams are completely enclosed within the top. This is view B. This is kind of the version that made me fall in love with this top. I made it from a quilt that I thrifted, but you can quilt your own fabric or use pre-quilted fabric or use an old quilt that needs some love and would love to be upcycled. So without further ado, get your scissors, get your fabric. Let's get ready to make a lot of bias tape because we're about to make view B of the Steph Time side tie top. All right, we have our pattern pieces cut out, and if you are using double-sided pre-quilted fabric or just a quilt like I am, we're gonna need to separate our sandwich of layers on the front bodice piece so that we can mark and sew our darts. So I'm just lightly pulling here. Mine basically had basting stitches, but if yours has some stronger stitches, go ahead and rip out that seam ripper or your tiny scissors. We're going to mark our darts on the front bodice piece main fabric as well as the lining fabric, and we are going to cut it out of the batting that's there in the quilt already. If you are quilting your own fabric for this top, I would recommend sewing your bust darts before quilting your sandwich together. Before we sew our fabric, we are going to sew our batting with a wide but short zigzag stitch to attach the two pieces of the dart together. This is the same method we are going to use for the shoulders batting as well. So we're just going to start sewing, back stitch at the front and back, and this will allow our batting to curve with our body with the bust darts on the top. Next up, we are going to sew the bust darts closed on the lining and main pieces. We are not going to backstitch at the point of the dart, and this is to avoid puckering at the chest area. So we're going to leave two long tails instead that we will tie off with a regular double knot. Once you have finished with your bust darts, we are now going to attach the front and back bodice at the shoulders. We're going to start with the main fabric, so we're going to put those right sides together, and with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, we are going to sew the top straps together. As you can see here, I have folded away the lining fabric as well as the batting on both the front and the back, and then we are going to kind of weirdly configure it to do the lining fabric as well. Just make sure that those are right sides together, and then with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, back stitching at both ends, we are going to sew that closed. All right, now you should have a little sandwich at the shoulders and your batting is not yet connected. What we're going to do is cut away about 1 centimeter from each of the batting pieces, and this is to account for not really overlapping or having seam allowance here. We're going to be sewing this closed the same way we did the chest darts, so either lightly overlap or just touch that batting together, and using a short but wide zigzag stitch, we're going to attach that, and then our little shoulder sandwich will be done and we will be prepared for bias tape. No matter how you slice it, you're going to need quite a bit of bias tape for this project. My preferred method is to make my own from a piece of the quilt that would not have been used otherwise. I do this by separating the cotton from the batting and getting the cotton basically in a square shape so that I can use my favorite method of making bias tape, which I will link right above. It is the best. Just make sure to do it 4 centimeters wide so we have a 1 centimeter double fold bias tape for our binding. You can totally buy some bias tape for this project, just make sure that it's 4 centimeter double fold. Definitely cut away any little threads, and then we are going to bind the neck hole. We are going to do this by starting at center back, lining up the bias tape right sides together, folding over 1 centimeter so that we have a really nice finished edge when we're done. And we're going to pin this all the way around the neck hole, making sure to take our time with the curves and the pins to get a really nice finish. This is obviously a very visible part of the top, so you want to take your time, really finesse it. Also, side note, I pretty much never pre-iron bias tape. I find it very easy to just do it like this. I recommend you try this if you haven't, because it saves a lot of time. So as we pin the neck hole, we're going to leave the last few inches open, and I will show you why as we sew, but just trust me, don't pin it all the way around, and we're going to start sewing at center back. All right, let's attach the bias tape. We are going to start at center back, making sure to back stitch at our beginning point. And with a 1 centimeter seam allowance, we're going to sew all the way around the neck hole. As you approach the end here, you can see that now we can lay that bias tape on top of center back where we first started stitching. Once you cross that point by about 2 centimeters, you can go ahead and back stitch, cut your threads, and cut away any excess bias tape. All right, after removing all of those pins, I needed to reduce a little bit of the bulk at my seams. So I'm grading some of the batting away from the inside of my little layer. And now we are going to bias bind the entire neck hole. Now, the way I like to do this is to start at center back. We're gonna fold again, pin down, move about 2 inches down where I'm bias binding, fold again, pin it down, and then kind of find the middle point in between those 2 pins, and then fold under and pin. This makes it a really clean line. I find it to be much easier, especially easier than pressing all of my bias tape ahead of time. This is totally up to your preference, but this is how I like to do it. Now let's talk about our next steps, because they're important to keep in mind as we're pinning here. So we are going to be securing this bias tape onto the neck hole and the entire project by stitching in the ditch from the front. So we're going to be stitching on our original stitch line from the front to secure the bias tape on the back. So that means you're going to want to make sure that it is at least 1 centimeter or a little bit longer on the back side to make sure that we catch the bias tape in that stitch. This is something that you might have to do 1 or 2 times to get used to, but it is something to consider as you're folding it over. The very end of your bias tape may be a little fiddly, so just do what you need to do. Cut away a little bit of the bulk to make it really nice. But you're going to want to use a lot of pins here. Get it how you want it, because this is how it's going to sew down. All right, taking it to the machine. As I said before, we are stitching in the ditch. So from the right side, we are aligning our needle right in the butt crack of the bias tape and our bodice. And we are going to secure that bias tape to the top by stitching in the ditch from the front, grabbing the bias tape on the back side with that stitch. So you can see here I'm checking as I go. It's very important. Also, these pins are very dangerous if you pinned it like I did, so just be careful. All right, I wanted to round out some of my harsh corners, so I'm using a curved ruler to round out right around the bust area on the front, and I'm going to also do this later on the back. However, we are going to round out these edges, and we are going to attach some bias tape from the top circle on the front bodice to the top circle on the back bodice all the way down the side. And you'll repeat this for both sides. All right, I also rounded out the bottom corners of the top on the front and back, and then we are going to attach bias binding starting from the bottom circle all the way along the bottom edge to the other bottom circle on the other side. This is pretty much bias tape around the entire thing, but it's okay, be patient, we got this, keep going. Once you have your top sufficiently pinned up, we are taking it to the machine and we are going to attach this bias tape right sides together with, you guessed it, a 1 centimeter seam allowance all the way around the top. If there's bias tape, we're sewing it down. If there's a break in the bias tape, we are back stitching. Alright, when we are done, we want to make sure that we don't have too much bulk in between our layers of bias tape, lining, main piece, and batting. And my quilt had a lot of appliques that added a lot of bulk, so we're just going to grade that in between your main pieces, your bias tape, and you may also need to remove some of the batting as well so that you can have a nice clean, not too bulky fold of your bias tape. So again, we're going to fold and then fold over our bias tape, encompassing a lot of that mid layer, a lot of the sandwich, and we're going to pin that down, and we are going to do that all the way around the top. If you're not sick of bias tape and pinning by now, then you deserve an award, because even I am, but it's so worth it. So just stick with me. And again, I'm creating a hazard for myself by putting my pins this way, but it really does help to create a very clean look. So just be careful.
Would you mind cutting me off some sage?
Yeah, I got you. And then we are stitching in the ditch from the front, making sure to catch the back of the bias tape again on the wrong side of the fabric. Keep in mind that this top is reversible, so you want it to look just as nice on the quote-unquote front as it does on the back, as you can see here. I think it turned out pretty great. But alas, it is time to make the ties. I did not name this the side tie top for nothing. So let's get to work by marking the center of each of our ties, and maybe remarking the notches that were on our pattern pieces, which may have since disappeared. We're going to find the center between those two notches, and we are going to line up the center of the tie with the center of the notch, pin it there, and we are going to double fold bias tape between the dots. Now this would be a very good time to have either pre-made double fold bias tape or to pre-iron your bias tape. But alas, I did not, so I'm going to show you how to do it if you also don't want to. Sandwiching the raw edge of the top between the double fold bias tape, we're going to use one pin on one side and one on the other, and we are going to continue to fold and do a pin on each side up until the notches, and then we are going to slowly curve off of the top into a tie. And y'all know I'm not going to pin all the way down this tie. What I do is I add one pin to secure its coming off of the top, and then one pin through the tie right at the beginning of it coming off of the top. And I'm also going to put a pin at the end, folding in the ends to secure the very end of the tie. We're going to do the rest of the work at the sewing machine. Believe me, it'll save you some time. Try it out. And I don't know about you, but my machine really hates sewing the very end of a tie or something. So make sure to either use tweezers or hand crank your machine to backstitch here. Very important to backstitch and make sure that's very secure. And because I don't have pre-folded bias tape, I'm just working in about 5-inch increments, making sure to fold it in, sew, and then I resituate, fold again, sew. I find this works really well for me, so if you haven't tried it and you really don't like having to iron bias tape, give it a shot. I really like it and I find it works very well. Now as we approach the bodice, just take your time and make sure that curve onto the bodice is really smooth and nice. Make sure you're catching both sides. And I am going to sew over my pins because I need that security. Just be careful. Don't be dangerous. And then we're going to come off the bodice and continue to sew that tie down. And then at the very end, we're going to close off the end and back stitch, and then we'll be done with this tie. Alright, I did have to use my needle nose tweezers to push the end of the tie through my machine. Just be careful, don't stick your fingers in there, and use the tools you have, and it'll be fine. You will repeat this for the rest of the top, so you'll do it 3 more times for the rest of the side ties. And once you are done with that, you can give your top a press, and then you are all done. I hope you liked it, I hope you enjoyed, and check out what my finished product looks like. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your love and support on this pattern. If you were sewing along with me, I hope that it went well. Make sure to tag me on Instagram. And if you were just along for the ride, I hope that you enjoyed. And if you want to check out the pattern, it will be in the description box down below. If you're looking to check out view A, make sure to check that out here. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Stay there, keep doing it. Wow. Put your arms out.